Hi, we're here with Leroy Forrester from South Carolina, who won the 1/16 scale National Display Contest Award for the 2011 show. And Leroy, you won building the Williams Brothers Big Bud 747. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, the tractor itself, it's not all that hard to build. On sheet metal, I bought 2 sheets of metal onto it, 4x8, and you get about 2.5 tractors out of it. I bought a sheet of 13 gauge and a sheet of 12 gauge and blocked the metal out. You make your fenders, your center part for your trailing trucks, and your cab, your hoods, and most all that is built out of 13 gauge. The side frames are built out of 12 gauge, which gives you more pressure and it makes it stiffer. The pivoting points are made out of 3/16 metal because they take a lot of pressure from the weight of the tractor. It weighs about 130 to 136 pounds.
That's a hefty model.
Yes, sir. And it's got bearings throughout all the pivoting points onto it and the main wheels onto it. It's got 4 bearings per side on 2 wheels, and they're free rolling. They got bushings that go through the main frame to make it where it's within 1 thousandths, so it's pretty rigid.
Now, I guess when we take a look at this, I mean, you have all the detail of the real one, and what do you have to lathe your own wheels for this, or what do you use for the tires and wheels?
Well, you can order your tires from Miller Tire Company in Ohio. They're Troy-built tires. It goes on a Troy-built, the large tire that's on that. The rims and the bearings are for go-karts that you can get at Northern Tube. And the tires, rims and everything that's onto it would probably run you about, I'll say $65 per unit, and you got 8 units on the tractor. So
Sure. That's a good investment.
it is.
Now, I was going to ask too about the big feature of not only the 747, but all Big Buds is that the cab tilts back to get to the transmission, and the engine block, you tilt the hood forward. Would you be able to show us how that all works?
Yes, sir. On the real Big Bud, you got a little block that fits right under each side right here. And that little block probably measures 1.5 by 2 inches and about 3 inches long, and it catches right up under the frame, and there's one on each side. So when you tilt the cab forward, that block catches under that frame and only let it come that far forward. This one here, there isn't quite that much room down underneath it, so I have a cable that runs from the grill down to the frame, and that keeps it from tilting on forward any further. The cab has got 2 pivoting points up here, and it's got shoulder bolts running through it. And they're 1/4-inch shoulder bolts, so when you tilt the cab back, it pivots on them shoulder bolts. And it's got 2 hydraulic cylinders in here that don't have hydraulic fluid in them. But the shafts that come up through them are stainless steel, and they got a mylar insert into them that pinches on the shaft, and that's what holds your shaft up here. And it's also got a shoulder bolt that comes through that holds the cab up. The cab weighs approximately 22 pounds because there's a lot of metal into it to make the top, to make the bottom, and make the inside of it. But it's a fairly solid cab.
Do you mind if we take a look inside the cab?
No, sir.
All right. Now, I think you were telling me that the seat came off of a 1/8 scale John Deere toy?
Yes, sir. The seat is scale models that come off of a 4020. And it's the reason why I loved using it. It's got the regular prototype like they got on the Big Bud. The first two of these tractors that I built, I made the seat, and it got about 14 hours per seat to build them. And it didn't look quite as good as these year. This year looked more prototype.
Sure. Well, this, I tell you, it would be something to be the captain of the Big Bud, sitting in that seat, piling that across the field.
Yes, sir. The gauges in there are made from rivets, painted, and then they're put white gauges onto them. So they're pretty close to what's on the Big Bud.
Well, Leroy, thank you very much for sharing this amazing model with us and putting it all together. It's very impressive.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.